Welcome back to the Author's Log series. I'm Kate Sheeran Swed. I write science fiction and fantasy books, and this is my informal weekly check-in series on YouTube. I record on Sundays and post on Mondays, so if you hear my kids running around in the background, that's because everyone's home and it's Sunday energy. News this week. I actually don't have a whole lot to report. The reading series continued this week with the first episode of Outlaw Rising. There will be a live Q&A and book club party thing on March 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will add links to the latest episode in the show notes as well as the Q&A form. So if you have any questions about this show or that show, you can ask me a question and I will answer it on the 17th. I will be live on YouTube and Instagram, which I need to test, but I think that's going to be how it will be. Maybe Facebook. I will give you the details next week for sure. And I just realized that this week actually marks the anniversary of my first full-length novel release. On March 3rd, Alter Ego is going to be 3 years old. I can't believe it. I released my first book in July 2019, but my first full-length novel was Alter Ego, and I put that out on March 3rd, 2020. I can't believe that I released it right before the pandemic. It's kind of wild. But yes, Alter Ego and the League of Independent Operatives series are my love letter to the superhero genre. It's a women-led ensemble cast. The main character has my heart in so many ways. And I will drop a note, like a link into the show notes to Alter Ego in case you're interested. The series has been complete for a year, and it does connect into my main space opera series, so I will talk more about that in a second. I just realized I'm still wearing my headphones. So I'm going to take them off because I don't need them because I'm not using that microphone. Okay, my goals from last week were to work on book 3 of the Interstellar Trials, and the legacy is starting to shape up. It's almost done, and I know that this series is new to a lot of folks who didn't back the Kickstarter. So it's really fun to be able to share the whole thing within a very short time frame, all 3 books, very different from what I'm usually doing. So last week was great, and what I'm working on this week is finishing up book 3. Actually going to be jaunting off on a little bit of a retreat next weekend to make sure that I have everything like buttoned up the way that I like, the quality that I want to have it. I'll talk more about that on Monday too and tell you all about it. I am also starting to plan the next Parse Galaxy book. It's going to be book 5, and it's called Battle Fringe. And that is going to be out at the end of May. This is my main series, and what I mean by that is just like my anchor series. I mostly write space opera these days, adult space opera, and it's part of the expanded universe that my readers voted to call the Parseverse. And the League of Independent Operatives, which I mentioned before, is also part of the Parseverse because the main characters in the Parse Galaxy series come into book 3 of the League of Independent Operatives and they cause some trouble. I mean, book 2. They come into book 2 and they cause some trouble. They're also in book 3. And I'm always excited to go back to these books. I feel like I've really hit my sweet spot of what I love writing the most when I write these. But it's also really, really important and good for me to be writing other series and books like the Interstellar Trials because I need something a little different and new, and I love writing those too. So don't make me choose between them, but I am excited to be planning Battle Fringe. And I'm kind of going back and forth and talking about these 2 different books that I'm working on, why I love what I'm working on. The legacy is really fun, and it's also challenging in a different way than I expected. The first 2 books kind of wrote like candy. It was just like, these are so much fun to write, and this one is still a lot of fun. It's challenging and satisfying to pull the ends together from something that I've been working on for a while. Even though I just released these books through Kickstarter, I actually put the first 2 out as a Kindle Vella serial a couple of years ago, so it's nice to bring the story to a close. It's kind of bittersweet. I usually work on longer series these days, and so I'm actually finding it sort of challenging to tie up those ends and wrap it up in 3 books and make sure that it's emotionally satisfying. But if you can't tell, I like a challenge, so I'm also enjoying that part of it. It's like both things. This is going to be a short update today because it's really like, yeah, I'm still writing. I'm going to start an author update. I'm still writing. That's the update this week. The end. Okay, so what I'm reading, I'm actually reading Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, who I love, and I can't believe I've never read this book before. It's one of his most famous ones. It is a brick of a book. It's like 1,000 pages, and it's every, page is filled. It's not this big typeset or anything. I am loving it though. I don't know how a book this size can pull you in and be, take away the intimidation of it so quickly the moment that you start reading. But Brandon is just absolutely an incredible writer, and I highly recommend this book. It will immerse you in this world. He is a master of writing fantasy and huge worlds. Really admire him. Also reading the second book in the Harvesters series by Luke Mitchell, which is a new favorite of mine. And the second book is called Hell to Pay. The first book is called Red Gambit, and I believe it's free everywhere. And it's kind of this like post-apocalyptic, but like in a fun way, mashup between sci-fi and fantasy. There are witches, arcanists, but the main character also has this really cool armor that he fights in, and I love it. He is irreverent and funny, and the woman main character is really well written, and I'm just gobbling up his work because it's so fast paced. His action sequences are just like, oh, you can't stop reading. Highly recommend it. So Luke Mitchell and Red Gambit, and I believe it's free everywhere on all the different platforms, or on, I think you can buy from his website as well. Highly recommend if you like, fun action sequences and stuff. Really, he's awesome. Let's see what I'm watching in other media. Been writing mostly, but I just started watching with my husband the third season of Jack Ryan, which is pretty good so far. We didn't love the second season, so enjoying the third season action. And mostly I'm just kind of waiting for the second season of Shadow and Bone next month, and the next season of Ted Lasso, which is also next month. So I'm just kind of waiting for those. And the album of the week is Hosier's Take Me to Church, because it's been stuck in my head all week. And if I pronounce that wrong, I apologize. I have not heard anyone say that band's name. The person's name? I don't know. I just heard the song and it's awesome. So I started listening to them, and I don't know if that's the man or the band. So I guess I have some research to do. Let's see, adventure of the week. So I took my son had his school break this week, and I took him to the mall arcade at Dave and Buster's for the last day of vacation. And I just was thinking that it's really fun to play. Like, we load up the card with games, and we sit on like the motorcycles and kind of drive them back and forth. And I actually managed to get him a stuffy out of that machine, where you like try to get the stuffed animals. He always wants to try it, and I always tell him like, you're not gonna get anything, but part of being a kid is learning that. And then I actually got him a Bugs Bunny stuffy when he started to get sad. I don't think I've ever won anything from one of those before. But we played Crossy Road, and they have this huge Hungry Hungry Hippos game where you can sit on the hippos, and it's just, I don't know, it like reignites my sense of play. It's really fun to hang out with a 7-year-old for the day and let him kind of take the reins and choose whatever games he wants. And I don't know, it was just like a nice day and really fun. And then we got pretzels, and it was a really good day. So that was a really quick author's note this week. And I'm just kind of working. You can tell by my crazy hair, I'm just sort of in the zone, and haven't moved that water cup from my desk since last week, so I better put that in the wash. Anyway, so I hope everybody has a good week, and I will see you next week, or I will see you on Thursday for the next session, next reading series episode. Have a great week. Bye.